Howdy and welcome back. So let's go ahead and begin our discussion by just recapping how we essentially can read a stream of characters into an object of some sort of type within our program. So our first example is that we're going to want to conduct a formatted read from CN into two string objects. It's important to remember that when we're employing the extraction operator to go ahead and pull things out of that stream is that it is white space delimited. So what we're going to essentially see here is that the first sequence of characters will be read successfully into first name. The second sequence of characters would then be read into last name. And to go ahead and to kind of highlight out this process, I just want to go ahead and show where different things are going within this. Because we are using the extraction operator to extract characters from this stream and go ahead and hopefully interpret them according to the type that we're using here. I want to emphasize that it is white space delimited. So if you look here, here's a white space, that's a physical space, another white space, which would then be our line feed at the end when the user hits enter after writing in their name. So what we'll see here is essentially the first sequence of characters before that space are going to be read into first name, and then my last name in this case will be read into last name. So at this point, you're probably wondering why the heck's he using his name again? Well, if you recall back from the introduction to basic input output, I used this and I had kind of the nice little layout here with my name. So I figured I'd pull in and go ahead and kind of reuse that. But we'll go ahead and expand on it as we're going through the motions as to what's actually happening during this read. So essentially the string of characters gets pushed into this stream. You can think about these characters kind of flowing, and there's an extraction arm which is going to pull them out and attempt to put them into the proper object. So in this case, the first that arm would observe will be M, and we can put that successfully into a string object. So M gets put in first, and we continue this process for I, which is then extracted and put in. And notice here that it is being removed from the stream and put into first name. This C character, the same process is happening. And we continue this all the way through the L to populate first name with that sequence of characters. Now notice here, the string's growing, and essentially the input stream is becoming saturated. So we're finally at L, which would be the last character add. And notice at this point, we hit that white space. So we know that we're done reading into the first name string. We know that anything that's going to come after that white space will go into last name. So we can go ahead and see that gets set up, and the same process will repeat itself. I'm not going to go through this again, but essentially it's going to look at the end. It will be put into last name, O-W-A-K, and then we'd hit that white space, and we know that we've successfully read in what we were looking to into the last name string, and the white space would be ignored. So let's go ahead and kind of take a look at this from a different avenue. Let's say that we'd like the user to go ahead and write in a fractional number to which we'd like to store the whole number part in a integer object, as well as the fractional part of that number within a fractional part object. So we can do that by essentially reading in an integer followed by a character, which would be the decimal point, followed by another integer. And we'll go ahead and look at how this is completed. But the key takeaway here is it is a formatted read. So what that means is we have to ensure that the format of the characters within the stream match the type that we're attempting to read into. So to begin, we'll start out with, hey, let's try and read in the whole part of this number. So we begin extracting characters. We look 3, okay, that is a character that could validly appear within a integer object. So it gets converted accordingly, and whole part at this point has 3. We then continue on and we look at the next character, which is a period. Notice that that period cannot be stored within an integer object. So it's essentially going to go, okay, well, that's not matching. So what is the next object that I can read it into? And that in this case would be this character object here, throwaway, which I'm simply going to use to extract that period and then go on and begin pulling out the fractional part. So we can see here that throwaway comes into play. And hey, guess what? That period is a character and it can be read into throwaway. So at this point, we've extracted the period from the stream and we're continuing on our way. For the fractional part, that again is going to be an integer object. We'll first evaluate 1 and it can be moved into that fractional part, converted. Next is going to be 4. That can also be a component of a integer value. So it's going to go ahead and be put into fractional part as well. And at this point, the stream is empty. We've read in all of the characters that were entered by the user. And the important thing to note at this point is the whole part has received the integer value of 3. Throwaway has received that character that we wanted to ignore or get rid of. And then the fractional part contains 14, which is what we would have wanted in this case. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and talk about provide some examples of format errors in the next video here.